Received a global audience of billions around the world. We're talking, of course, about the 2025 inauguration of President Donald Trump. But of course, it was the people around him that fascinated all of us, really. We all like to see who was wearing what, who's been invited, who knows who doesn't know who. I always like to look at it's a bit like the Oscars, isn't it? The sort of course, the Oscar losing face. They've all rehearsed it and they all pretend they're thrilled for the other person. But you don't turn up unless you think you're in with a chance, do you? And I found it quite amusing seeing Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton, literally thinking, oh, here we go again. And Hillary knowing, of course, that she's no chance ever of becoming the very first female president of the United States. It almost happened for Kamala Harris, but sadly that was slipped through her fingers when all the revelations about how much her, town halls costed with none other than her chum, or not so chum, Oprah Winfrey. But it was this friendship that really set the internet afire. And the bottom line is, it seems a rather strange case. Let me explain. Morning, how are you? Nice to see you. Have you recovered? If you were watching it, what a spectacular event. They know how to put on a show in America, don't they? Yes, I mean, this is what I love when I've been lucky enough to visit things like the NFL and stuff like that. Pure showmanship, you just know how to put on a party. Of course, you need boats. That's the thing, isn't it? Big books. By the way, can I thank you for all your kind comments regarding a wonderful interview with all recollections of Buddy Holly and Barbara Streisand with the late and brilliant British entertainer Des O'Connor. What a man. I mean, just such a nice man. I interviewed him on a number of occasions, but he was always just sweet and kind and very, very sort of giving, You felt like you were talking to a friend. He was just lovely, Such a sad loss, but sadly, what a great sort of thing he left behind, a wonderful plethora of work. And many fans know over here in the United Kingdom, of course, that Des was the butt of jokes of Eric and Ernie. Check it out if you hadn't seen some of them. Just wonderful. All in good jest, though. Now, the thing that wasn't in good jest were the people that were in the inner rotunda, as it were, on the inauguration of Donald Trump. Many people were shocked by certain people missing, particularly those that allegedly are good chums, best of friends, the sort of people I'm talking about. It becomes very apparent, doesn't it, exactly who's in and who's out. Now, one of the people that was in was none other than the former British Prime Minister, the Right Honourable Boris Johnson. Now, Boris Johnson, of course, came to a rather sticky end in his premiership, and I detailed that when I was sitting down with Sir Graham Brady about what exactly happened. In another time, in another place, it might not have happened like that, but that's political history at that moment in time. But he was actually covering the story for a national newspaper over here in the United Kingdom. But not only that, he got a personal invite into the inner sanctum. And this is the reason why. You see, Boris and Donald go back quite a way. And apparently, according to Donald, Boris was very kind and helpful in, preparating sort of to meet Her Majesty the Queen, what to do, how to behave, that sort of stuff. Although we know he spectacularly got it wrong, didn't he? Inspecting the troops, right? But what was fascinating about this particular story was they truly bonded over a love of another leader, that's right, Winston Churchill, who rightly so now, the President of the United States has reinstated the bust back into the White House. But it was, in fact, Boris's book on Churchill that bonded these two together, talking for hours either on the phone or in person. And that's truly the reason why he got such access. So while all the others may claim, oh, he's a good chum and I've supported him and stuff, actually, when you scratch a little bit deeper, Boris and Donald, well, forget the politics, they may not agree on everything, but they got on very well. And it was one man that united them, another former great leader, none other than the brilliant Winston Churchill. If you haven't checked out Boris's book, do have a look. It's full of interesting revelations about exactly what made Churchill tick. And that apparently was a real appeal to the bond and the friendship of Donald and Boris. Neil Sean in the very heart of London.